Polygamy Part 33. After long hours of deliberation, the king of Egbejo finally rose from his carved throne, his voice calm but firm as he addressed his cabinet of elders. The matter before them was unusual, two sisters from the same family chosen to participate in the bride selection. It had never happened before, and that alone made the elders cautious. One after the other, they spoke, weighing tradition against reason, history against possibility. In the end, the conclusion was reached. There was no law forbidding it. And so, the king nodded in agreement. Both daughters of Chief Odem, Nita and Zita, would be allowed to participate alongside 8 other maidens, making a total of 10 contestants for the prince's hand. The decision was sealed. The following morning, the palace was alive with movement. Royal messengers, dressed in the king's colors, set out early, each carrying a finely crafted box, 10 boxes in total, moving from compound to compound across Egbejo and neighboring villages. Each box carried weight far beyond its beauty. When the messengers arrived at Chief Odem's compound, the chief's heart leapt with joy, then tightened with tension. He knew what the boxes meant, and he also knew the weight of destiny they carried for his household. The head messenger stepped forward respectfully and bowed. By the order of the king, he said, we request to see Nita and Zita, daughters of this household. The message must be delivered directly to the maidens. Chief Odem called out to his daughters. When Nita and Zita stood before the messengers, one box was presented to each of them. The messenger spoke clearly, so all could hear. You have been selected for the bride selection of the prince. By accepting this box, you consent to being a contestant. If you choose not to participate, you may return the box to the palace within 3 days. With that, the messengers bowed and departed. Excitement erupted instantly. Zita turned to her father with a wide smile, her eyes shining as she called out for her mother, Felicia. Joy filled the compound as neighbors gathered, whispering and congratulating. But Nita did not celebrate. Without hesitation, she clutched her box and hurried into her hut. Inside the dim room, Alice waited. Mommy. Mommy. Nita whispered urgently. I've been chosen. The first step is complete. What do we do next? Alice's lips curled into a slow, satisfied smile. Nothing, she replied calmly. Absolutely nothing. Nita looked confused. Just keep being a good girl, Alice continued. At least pretend to be one. Greet everyone with respect. Help the elderly. Smile often. Avoid quarrels. Let no one see anger in you. She leaned closer, her voice dropping. And leave the rest to me. Nita nodded obediently. Across Egbejo, once all 10 boxes had been delivered and the messengers returned to the palace, the official announcement was made. The entire village buzzed with anticipation. On the chosen day, families gathered as the selected maidens were escorted to the king's palace. The competition had begun. The king announced that the contest would be divided into 3 stages. The first stage was dance. The maidens were divided into 2 groups, 5 in each. Zita was placed in the first group, while Nita stood among the second. As the drums began to beat, Zita and her group stepped forward. Their movements were graceful, coordinated, and beautiful. The drums grew faster, the crowd louder. They danced with joy and confidence until suddenly, one maiden collapsed to the ground, overcome by exhaustion. She was disqualified immediately. Then it was Nita's turn. Her group stepped forward, and from the first drumbeat, it was clear something was different. Nita danced with boldness and confidence, moving closer to the prince, then retreating back into line, her waist rolling effortlessly. The elders murmured in admiration. Even the king nodded slowly. But the prince did not smile. His eyes remained fixed on Nita, searching her face, his thoughts drifting back to Christmas night, the confusion, the missing memories, the unanswered questions. By the end of the dance round, 4 maidens had been disqualified, the one who fainted from Zita's group, and 3 others. Only 6 remained. The second stage was announced: cooking. Palace maids lined the courtyard with cooking utensils, rice, spices, and chickens. The task was simple but demanding: prepare jollof rice and chicken worthy of a queen. As if fate itself was aligning, Nita moved with confidence. Unknown to many, Felicia had taught her carefully behind closed doors for weeks. The cooking began. Within minutes, one maiden ruined her rice completely and was disqualified on the spot. 5 remained. The elders and the king tasted the food carefully. The prince was forbidden from tasting, a rule rooted in tradition, for it was believed that a man's heart could be swayed by flavor before reason. After much discussion, the verdict was reached. The final 3 were announced: Nita, Zita, and Ominat. The crowd gasped. 2 sisters still standing. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, tension thickened the air. The final stage loomed ahead, and destinies hung in balance. But behind Nita's calm smile, secrets stirred. And behind the prince's steady gaze, suspicion burned. To be continued.